By the order of Azer Film Video Production Association, Independent Studio Ocak. The Udi people. The language of the song has a centuries-old history. It is spoken by the nation who has been living in Azerbaijan since the times of ancient Caucasian Albania, and whose name is Udi. The Udis are direct descendants of Caucasian Albanians, one of the most ancient peoples settled in the Caucasus and historical Azerbaijan. And the Albanians are one of the ancestors of Azerbaijanians and other Caucasian peoples. They were courageous and independent people. Many centuries ago, they withstood the army of Alexander the Macedonian. Farida Mammadova, Doctor of Historical Sciences. The Udis are one of the most ancient peoples on the territory of the Caucasus, and they are the direct descendants of the ancient Caucasian Albanians. We must bear in mind that the Caucasian Albanians are one of the ancestors of the Azerbaijan people and many peoples of Dagestan. This is how the Udis' place in the history of the Azerbaijan people and in the history of the peoples of Dagestan is defined. The most ancient records about the Udis were first given by Herodotus, the father of the Greek history, who lived in the 5th century BC. Further, we find the reference to them in the classical literature by Strabo, Pliny the Elder, Plutarch, and other antique authors. The role of the Udis in the formation of the Albanian ethnos as well as the Azerbaijan people can be compared to that of the Celts in the formation of the Anglo-Saxon nationality of the English nation. For all they being one of the components of the nation, the Celts have remained independent up till now. So have the Udis. Having taken part in the formation, they remained an independent ethnos up to now. The language of the Udis is close to the Dagestan family of languages, and its role in the history of Albania is great because the Albanian language was formed on the basis of two languages, Udi and Gagar, and the Albanian written language was created on the basis of these two languages. In the 5th century, an Albanian alphabet was created which consisted of 52 signs. The education at schools was in Albanian. Both religious and secular works were created in this language. The Albanian state was established at the beginning of the 4th century BC and existed up to the 8th century. The state occupied the territory of present Azerbaijan, from the river Raks in the south to Derbent in the north. Up to the 5th century, its center was Gabala, situated not far from the present Gabala. Then, its center became Barda. The sources call the state as Albania, Ardan, Aran, Rani, Arguan. The ruins of the fortress walls of Gabala have been retained up to the present day and are protected by the state as a historical monument. The population of the Albanian state consisted of different tribes, the Udis, Gargars, Hels, Caspis, Slaves, and others. On their basis developed an Albanian ethnic community, whose language in its turn was formed on the basis of Udi and Gargar dialects. The Udi region and its inhabitants, the Udis, played a great part in this process. The Albanians were able to preserve their territorial integrity and never encroached on others' lands. They were courageous and brave people who had a great army. As early as the 4th century BC, they distinguished themselves by their heroism at the Battle of Ganganella, where they fought in the troops of Persian King Darius against the army of Alexander the Macedonian. In the 1st century BC, defending their territorial integrity, the Albanians fought against the Roman military commanders, Lucu, Pompey, Antony, who strived to invade the Transcaucasia. Albania was the only state in the Caucasus that Rome could never conquer. Different finds of archaeological excavations in Gabala, Yalovlutapa, Mengechavir and other places give an idea about economy and high culture of ancient Udis. They were mainly engaged in farming, cattle breeding, gardening, silkworm breeding. The development of handicrafts and trade contributed to the revival of the towns. Gabala, Derbent, Shamahi, Barda, Shaki, Ganja, Velagan, and other towns played their important part in the economic, cultural, and political life of the state. The buried treasure of coins found in Gabala gives an evidence of the issue of monetary units, and this is one of the indications confirming the fact that an independent Albanian state had existed. After the fall of the Albanian state and the period of the spread of Islam over the Caucasus, a part of the Albanians adopting Islam merged with the Turkic tribes. Another part of them, remaining loyal to Christianity, settled down in the mountains and revived the Albanian kingdom, which existed in Artsakh-Karabakh from the 8th up to the 15th centuries. Under the rule of Hasan Jalal, who belonged to Mehranids, the family of Grand Dukes of Albania, the Albanian kingdom attained its greatest prosperity. It was in this period, in the 13th century, that Ganzasar Cathedral, the pearl of Christian architecture, was erected. Ziya Bunyadov, academician, vice president of Azerbaijan Academy of Sciences. At the time when Christianity arose, Jesus had 12 disciples. They were called apostles, and the apostles had their disciples who were called the Second Apostolic Vanguard. Bartholomew and Elisha, the two of them, came from Jerusalem. In the east, they opened the first church in Albania. That's why the Albanian church is called apostolic. But the Armenian church is not apostolic. It was founded 2 generations after the Second Apostolic Vanguard. The Orthodox Christianity existed only in Albania, and later it appeared in Georgia due to its links with Byzantium.
Ve Ortodoks başperestliği yalnız Albanya'da ve sonra Gürcüler. Ve Bizans'la da bağlı olduğu için bu Ortodoks, yani Orta Asyalardan Ermeniler...
The fact that their church had not been apostolic would not let the Armenians have a minute's peace. Therefore, they used every possible means to undermine the Albanian church and take up its place, acquiring the apostolic belongings. Since 1836, they have spent so much money in St. Petersburg, bribing so much in the Holy Synod, that as a result, the Albanian church was abolished and all the church constructions of the Albanians were transferred to the possession of the Armenian church. Since that time, this religious strife has been going on. It's not by mere chance that the Armenian historians Joseph Orbeli, the founder of the Academy of Sciences, or Kero Potpanyan, the correspondent member of Russian Imperial Academy, write that the Armenians do not have a political face. After the abolishment of the Albanian Apostolic Church, the Udis had tried to preserve their ethnos and centuries-old culture. The Armenian Church, which was founded in the 15th century in Echmiadzin, near Yerevan, attempted to assimilate the Udis by instilling the Armenian Gregorian dogma. With the help of Gregorianity, the Armenian Church intended to Armenianize the Udis, giving them out to be the ancient Armenians. By rejecting Gregorianity, the Udis enriched their religion with the symbols and customs of other religious of the Gabala district and the Oghuz district of the Azerbaijan Republic. Despite all the historical obstacles, this people managed to preserve its customs, traditions and the language too. The Udis Cultural Center plays a great part in this process. Directed by Kochari, the center carries on the traditions of the curators of centuries-old cultural heritage of Udi. Todor Hutsiev, who compiled an Udi dictionary in 1863, Dirani, who published a textbook in Udi in 1934, I. Gazari, a poet and playwright, Boroshil, doctor of philology, an expert on the Caucasian languages, and many others. Georgi Kochari, the chairman of Udis Cultural Center. It is a very good chance to introduce us in the Republic. As a president of the administrative board of the Udis Cultural Center for 2 years, I express deep gratitude to the state, thanks to which such great work has been carried out and so many people know about our small nation. Lately, much attention has been paid to the cultural development of the nationalities and minority and ethnic groups. In this respect, of course, teaching in the native language plays great importance. That is why, together with Aydinov, a research worker of the Research Institute of Teachers Training, we have worked out a special program of the Udi language for the primary school. Since the beginning of the last school year, the first formers of our village schools have been studying the native language twice a week. At present, the work on the textbooks for the second and the third grades has been accomplished. We intend to publish the books next year. In the village of Nij, side by side with the Udis, there live and work the Azerbaijanians, Leskins, Russians, Jews. Modern conveniences of the village, the development of education and culture, economic and social establishments, providing the youth with job, all these are the questions of great concern to the village administration. More than 400 villagers work at the cannery of Nij. The close economic ties with Shaki, Ismaili, Oguz, Ujar, Zardav and other Azerbaijan districts enable the factory to increase the volume of production year after year. More than 300 Udis with higher education, engineers, teachers, vets, cattle breeders, doctors make their contribution to the development of the village. The structure of the agricultural production includes 5 livestock farms. Developed in the village are also gardening and cocoon cultivation. It also grows grain, vegetables and tobacco. A newly equipped mill with a productivity of 10 tons per day completely meets the needs of the villagers. The population of the district not only provides for themselves, but also has an opportunity to sell tons of their production. Every Saturday, thousands of villagers come in flocks to the bazaar at the entrance of Nij. Social sphere is also well arranged. There are a 50-bed hospital, a polyclinic, a maternity home where highly qualified doctors work, 2 nursery schools for 150 children, 5 secondary schools, 10 libraries, 3 clubs, a consumer service center, 5 canteens, 3 film projectors. All these help the villagers satisfy their everyday necessities and cultural needs. The Udis have always been attached to the hearth of their ancestors. No doubt the spirit trait has played a definite part in the self-protection of the nation. The young generation of the Udis carries on the traditions of their fathers. Against the background of a pure spring, a pure glance of the first feeling. They will retain the feeling through their lives. goes between two young people, they act according to the custom. The young man sends an apple through his matchmakers to the house of his beloved. If the young girl accepts the apple, that means a wedding. Balikpir Manadov, the chairman of the collective farm. I'm a native Alban. I live with the Udis in the same village. I also went to the same school with them. At the collective farm where I work, there are both the Udis and Azerbaijanians. They share both their grief and joy. Our children go to school together. Today, the Udis have the opportunity to study in their native language. We, the Azerbaijanians, carry great responsibility for the present day of the nationalities and minority who live in Azerbaijan, for their development, for the education in their native language, for the survival of their culture. Democratic reforms enable to regard with great attention the customs and religious beliefs of minorities who live in our republic. Azerbaijan carries the responsibility for the fate of one of the most ancient peoples of the world, registered in the UNO. It is the duty of the Azerbaijan people to the Udi people to restore Gazasal Cathedral, forcibly captured by the Armenians. If God permits, the truth of the history will triumph, and the Udi people will offer prayers in the restored Albanian Apostolic Church. Screenplay and direction, Hussein Mehter. Directors of photography, Nadir Mehter, Amin Novruzov. Sound, Vladimir Savin. Editors, Tamara Narimanbekova, Nelly Dadasheva. Production editor, Dinara Karakmazli. Music editor, Ismail Dadashov. Advisors, Ziya Bunyadov, Farida Manadova, Gregory Kechari. Production manager, Rafik Dadashov. The End. Azar Film Video, 1993.